Hello all, Seriously's here. Today we're going to do a little bit of a build tips video. Now these are going to be not specific how to do a specific building thing tips, and we'll get into maybe a few of those at the end, but mostly this is going to be about things to consider when building, a couple of tips to think about when building. So I don't do produced videos, so I'm not going to be able to list them up on the screen for you and type them all out, but let's just start at the beginning. The very first tip is to use the build camera. I see a lot of players who probably have gotten used to building without the build camera because it didn't always exist in the game. And once you've gotten used to it, I understand not needing to adapt to the new system just because you've gotten used to it. I totally get that, but it is very helpful and in many ways more powerful, especially if you play in first-person mode usually and not third-person like this. It's very easy to get used to because there's almost no difference between it except that you can fly without using a jetpack. And we'll show you that right now. I've almost made it muscle memory to hit the button for build camera as soon as I enter build mode. You can see at the bottom of the screen in the middle there, it is C on the keyboard. It'll tell you the exact same spot on whatever platform you're on, what the button is to do it, and I hit it automatically every time I'm going to build something. So much so that when I want to not use it, I have to deactivate it because I'm always activating it right away. It's very helpful, very helpful. You are limited in range from your actual character. I can't go much further than that, see I'm at the limit, but that's a pretty large limit. I can get very good angles from that height, and I can go that far below me if there wasn't ground. Another benefit of the build camera is its size. You're not going to get a player to fit under this bridge. If you want to place things on the bottom like lights, if you want to get good angles from underneath of things, this is the way to do that. So try to get used to the build camera. It's very helpful, very, very helpful. You can strafe, forward, backward, all while you're in this menu, and as soon as you leave it, you'll go back to your character. Easy as that. So if you've been playing a long time and you're not used to it, just try to remember to activate it. The one exception when I almost never want to use the build camera is when you're extending your base past the range that you can normally build in. So I don't know if you've ever encountered this, but you cannot normally build more than 300 units away from your base computer. If I were to travel, I know this little peninsula is about 300 units away. I don't need to show you that really, but let's do it. See how much time we can waste. So how far away am I here? 286. Alright, so if I go into the build camera, the build menu, don't need to be in the camera. Specifically for this reason, because I would have been way too far away to get my camera out this far to build this far. But I can build this, and if I move up past 300 units away, this should disappear, and I'm left with a very limited menu of portable items I can build, basically. So if you want to extend your range beyond that, this is not going to be a video on how to do that. There's plenty of videos. I can recommend some in the description probably. But if you want to do that, you're going to want to be in the normal building menu tied to your character. I guess we can call that the character build camera, because it doesn't really have a name. And if you're extending pipes or wires past that range, you're going to want to be in the normal character build camera, not the floating build camera. And that's about it. That's the main reason that I don't use the build camera. For pretty much every other aspect of building, I am in the build camera, floating around, getting good angles and stuff. So the second thing I want to talk about to consider is location. As they say in real estate, that's everything. It's location, location, location. And we are not just talking about where to place your base. We're talking about the whole aspect about it. So what star system to build it in, what galaxy to build it in are things to consider. Obviously, you're going to have to pick a spot at some point on a planet. But even within, down to the last, tiniest detail, you want to think about things like plants, rocks, geography of sorts. These rocks here, if I was on a mining beam, that'll reappear. If I place something down, if I build something and that disappears, that rock will reappear. It will always reappear. Trees will reappear. If you build something through the bottom of a tree and the tree disappears, that tree's coming back. And you're going to always have to cut it down. And the same is true with the ground. If you dig down into the ground, if you build a base down into the ground, like this cuboid room here is half buried, that will fill in with the earth again. They've said they've fixed it a few times to not do that, but that is really only going to be true for you. And even still, it might fill back in. It might come back. So you have to be wary about digging into the ground. You have to be wary about things on the ground. Even things like these crystals here, they will come back. And that might be interesting. You might want some crystals sticking up through the floor of your base so you can harvest them from inside your base. Things to consider. So location does matter, and it's not just things like hotspots, which is another location-dependent thing. You can see I'm not using solar panels at this base. This is my little research and development base where I plan out stuff and try things out. And here I've been trying to attach small cuboid rooms to the bottoms of biodomes for another build. Now, where is my power? Anyway, it's down below me somewhere, and we're right near, there it is, we're right near a power hotspot. And that's the only thing this base needed. I'm not harvesting any minerals or gas in this base. This was just to try and see how to connect things and make things work. It's my little research and development base. So that's some things to consider for location. Now we can get into a little bit of a tricky one, and you might wonder what this floating bridge is here for. Well, you see this railing system here. How did you do that? How did you get railing on stairs? I've been trying and trying and trying. How did you do it? That's the third thing to consider, is the build order. That's what we call that, the order in which you're placing which items. So you can see, if we go into build, structures, let's make it all out of concrete, why not? And stairs should be somewhere over here. There we go. So we can put stairs on the end of this thing, and let's just make it symmetrical because that's pleasing. Now the railings, we're back here. You can see it's giving us red. I could put it down here, but that's not a railing, that's level with the stairs. Why can't, if the stair isn't there, I can place it there. I can place it even up here. I can snap to all of those various points along there. What's going on? It's because it wants you to place these first. Now if I go back to the stairs, there we go. So the order in which you place things can definitely have an effect. You can't just place things the way you think you should be able to place them, because sometimes the game has other ideas. So that's an important thing to consider about why something isn't working when you think it should. Another thing that's sort of related to that is placement. As you can see, I've been doing some of that over here. I've been researching about how to connect stairways smoothly to prefabricated rooms. And I wanted to put some railings on, and this one took a lot of effort because of the way that I connected it to this room. Didn't leave me a lot of extra room to get these to work the normal way. It was very finagly, and I can't even replicate it anymore. I can't remember the build order that I used. The other thing is placement. So let's go back to, there it is right there. Sometimes you can't rotate these like that. Right now I'm pressing the R key, and as you can see down at the bottom, snap rotate is listed as R and T. Sometimes it won't let you rotate this, and the reason is it's going to want another piece on the other side. So you need, In fact, is this an example here? No, I can rotate these. Of course, it's not giving me that example, but you might just need a piece on the other side as a scaffold, is what we're calling those. So this is a setup piece to let me rotate this one if it's not rotating. So that's another aspect of build order. You might need to set up a scaffolding to help you rotate and place your pieces the way that you think they should automatically be able to go. One of the ways to get around some of those finagly things. So another thing to consider after that cloud passes by, we can show this off a little bit, is color and texture. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a theme base going on here. I'm just doing a blue and gold, blue and yellow sort of theme. Gold's coming off a bit orange in this sky, unfortunately, but it looks pretty good on white light planets. Anyhow, that's what something you consider is color and texture and how that affects things. You might not want certain colors to go with certain things, and you're also going to go with build order. It might be hard to texture and color certain things after they've already been placed, and you might want to think about what color they should be as you're placing them. Obviously, the way you do that is when you're building an item and you're in that menu, you can hit the up, as you see the up arrows there. You get a separate menu for your color. Now you can see that these construction pieces here don't get texture. When I go to, say, a large room here, I can go up in color and then up again and choose a texture. We've got some rusted paint, we've got some brick pattern, and that even changes how these solar panels on the top of these things look. It changes the texture totally. It's very interesting. But you can't do that normally to these construction pieces, these concrete, wood, and metal ones. I can quickly show you one tip, and that's why this pipe is here. We're going to need one of them. This is a how-to that I've learned from, well, I learned it on Beeblebum's channel, but I can't remember the name of the person who showed him. I want to say it had a snake-based name. I don't know if it was a cobra, but I can't remember. So let's go with a metal piece. We're going to use metal because the textures show up very nice on metal. They do change the concrete. As you can see, we've got a silver and orange outline on this concrete piece. And over here, when I've changed the color to blue, it's become a bit of like a dark yellow orange and dark blue with a sort of silver black outline. Those outlines and colors will change and become more metallic when you change the textures, but the concrete will basically stay the same. For the metal pieces, it will completely change everything. The whole texture will change, just like the buildings over here. So we're going to make some brushed steel metal plating. Where are the things I want? I'm in the wrong menu. Adornments. So you can pick a pipe, a pyramid. Basically, you can pick anything. You could place a whole prefabricated room, a large room like that down. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it can take a texture like that. So we're going to have that down. Then we're going to go back to the metal menu. Basic metal. Let's do a floor so it's facing the right way. Unfortunately, it's night. We're going to lose our light pretty quickly. So you can see I cannot pick a texture. I can pick a color. Go with, let's try whatever, black and, no, something that'll show up nice. Purple and yellow, red and blue, whatever. We're going to go with that color. We are going to hold down the button that lets us on PC. This is going to be left control. So it's going to let us delete things, but we don't want to delete things. We want to go into our color menu. That's very important. You have to go up to your color menu for the floor first. So we're in the color menu. Now we want to hold down the control or delete key. We want to go over to our pipe or pyramid. We want to match that color. Where was that color? And we want to go up to the texture. We want to click on the pyramid to apply it and then let go of everything. Now you can see my floor panel has a texture on it. If we leave this menu, we can leave the color menu and it disappears. You see that? The texture is gone. If we leave the menu at all or try to change parts, we are going to lose that texture. But it's a way to apply texture to these pieces. And again, build order does matter. You cannot do this trick to these pieces after they are placed. So that is something to consider, is if you want a specific color or texture to pieces like that, you're going to have to do that as you place them. Another thing that is going to affect what I just said about that trick is the last thing I want to talk about today. Is a simple building glitch called the Adjacency Glitch. It's one of the easier glitches to pull off, and it is very useful for a lot of things. It might even be the most commonly used glitch. Definitely by number of times used, because you have to use it a lot of times to get your scaffolding in the right places, in the right distances. So let's go over that really quickly. I'm sure other people have covered this one as well. So let's say we want to get this piece, one of these pieces, right in the middle of one of these rooms, of where this goes. We don't want it to be snapped here in the corner. We want it to be right in the middle of one of those rooms. So what we can do is go to the glass piece, and you see where the green connector light is to show you where to snap it. Snap. As long as you're snapped onto the piece, and then you move over to this at the very same time as you place it. Oh, and I messed up the timing, but the timing is very forgiving on this. And here's a little trick too. If you get the angle right, this is another reason why to use build camera. You'll see I can't place it like this. It won't let me, but it will let me place this here. So if I mess up the timing, I will not accidentally place a piece. See? I can mess up as much as I want. And then when I got it, there we are, we can go. Take a look at it. That is exactly centered right in the middle of this. Interesting, right? So that's how you do the adjacency glitch in general. You just change the piece you're building at the exact same time as you place it. And that'll let you do things like even phase stuff through each other. If we go to this piece here in specific, we can put a normal floor panel going through that small floor panel. Let's just try it like this so I don't accidentally place one. Invalid. See, I messed up, but I have the floor panel blocking my view. There we go. So I've got two of these phased through each other and phased through that. Now this is going to mess up a lot of your normal snapping connections. Normally I'd be able to put a piece here, but that is blocking my point. So I can't get it there. Obviously I can't snap it to a small piece except here. But this does let me see, look, I've created an offset. So you can do things like that with the adjacency glitch. It's very powerful. You can use it for lots of things. And that's how to pull it off. Just at the exact same time, you want to switch over to it. Let's try to put one. There you go. It's very easy on the timing, especially if you're using a controller. It's a bit tricky on the PC, but I'll let you in on a secret. With a bit of practice, you'll definitely be able to get that one. And that might even encourage you to try some of the harder ones, like the wire glitch, the banjo glitch, the blender glitch, all very useful glitching building techniques, and I use them a lot. But the timing is a bit trickier on those, especially on the PC with the mouse and keyboard. However, on the mouse and keyboard, you can use auto-click type macros for your mouse and keyboard to help make the timing almost guaranteed. You should look into Xaine's World's videos on that. He has a very precise guide and download links to some I don't know what you call them. The things that you put in for your macros, I guess they're called. But I don't use any of those, and I'm not able to do them. I only messed up a few times, you saw on that adjacency glitch. So the timing can be done without any macros, even on PC. It's a little bit trickier, and it's tedious to learn, to be honest. Oh, that was a bit loud. Sorry, everybody. I've been experimenting with putting more plants than you're able to in into the biodome up here. And you do that by going inside and deleting the door, and then you should be able to place more plants inside where the door was, even if there are plants there already. And so long as you're not putting different plants in the same slots, it doesn't really affect your complexity difference either. It still affects how many base parts there are, but it doesn't affect your complexity. So you can really glitch in a lot of plants into one dome. You can see there I gained thousands from one dome. I would have to harvest all of these frostwort domes to get the same amount that I got from that one dome. You can also see I've created a hallway here that prevents you from needing to climb up into the domes or walk around outside of the domes. You can just harvest all plants from underneath as you walk along it without any janky bouncing up and down as you're going through hallways. Up a stair, down a stair, up a stair, down a stair. Nope, you can just walk underneath and harvest these plants. You can't really run, unfortunately. It's not super duper fast, but I just like how it looks. I like the smoothness of it, and I wanted to see how I could get that done. You can see I've also done some interesting connecting of these small cuboid rooms to the large cuboid room. It's another sort of build order type arrangement going on there, but I'll leave that to you guys to figure out. I'm not going to show you everything of how I've done every single building connection I've ever made, because that would take forever, but that's the basic idea. So let's briefly recap those tips. The build camera, get used to that, that's a good one. Location, and not just what star system and galaxy it's in, but think about things at the ground level like plants and rocks and trees. Hazardous plants especially, those things are going to regrow and they're going to snap at you even from a good 10-20 feet below. If your base is floating above a hazardous plant that snaps or whips, be careful about that. Don't build your rooms over that. Build order is another tip, how you place things and when you place things. Also think about scaffolding, setting up other pieces to help you rotate and place your pieces the way you want them, and at the height and level and orientation you need them. We covered some color and textures, how to get them onto these pieces, and to think about what you want the base to look like and how you are placing things when you place them, and that can affect your coloring as well. And we went over the adjacency glitch to help you build stuff in a more detailed way, more I don't even know how you would say that, but to control your placement even more accurately. And that's been it. That's everything for this video, guys. I have a couple more bases that I've built on this new save that I'm on. This is my second normal save. So I've been getting the production rooms ready on this one, and I've got several production bases to show off now, so there is more base tours coming. Not sure what else we're going to be doing, but I am in the mood to make some more videos, and hopefully this one turns out well. I recorded this one earlier and it did not, so I had to reshoot this whole thing because of the way I do them. So I'll be checking the audio and such on this, and hopefully it's great, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.